Hello and welcome back to The Movies Made Us Do It. Me and Matt are back. How are you, Matt?
I am pretty good, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing good. Fucking hot.
Yep.
But otherwise fine. Yeah. I was saying to you off air, I think our review from last week, one of the best ones we've done. I'm really happy with how that turned out.
I think it was one of the best ones, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
However, in the process of me telling you that, you said that there were some things you wanted to mention that we didn't mention.
I forgot to go back to so when we were talking about missing scenes and extra scenes, we were talking about the scene where they're in the car in the showroom.
Yes,
and they're talking about how there's we were talking with how goofy. Oh my god! Now I'm going to forget the names of the angels. How goofy one of them is, and he's walking around imitating other people, the humans as they're walking along, and they decided not to.
Cassiel, isn't it? Doing
yes,
that?
Cassiel.
Yeah.
I think I think it would have made his character a little more goofy, because for me in that movie he's the more serious one.
Yeah,
now,
for sure.
What they also filmed, what they also did that they completely discarded is they've got a whole bit where at the very end of what could have happened is Cassio becomes human as well.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it was going that way.
Yeah,
in a part, because I think particularly with the suicide.
Yes,
I kind of felt like after that he was gonna kind of.
Well, he does in the sequel.
Yes, you said he does in the sequel.
He does in the sequel, but in they actually filmed scenes where he did at the end of this. But what's weird about this is it's in the club. He becomes human in the club, and when Damiel and his beau are talking, they got that scene of them at the bar.
Yeah.
He walks in and taps him on the back, sort of thing, and then they have a cake fight.
Oh. Yeah,
it's really fucking weird. There's a tray of cakes which you can see in the finished movie when he's talking to is it Marianne? I forget what her name is. When he's talking to her, they're talking. If behind him there is a tray of cakes, and in the scene that they basically cut and decided not to use, there's this whole pipe fighting scene. It's because he's always wanted to fight film a pipe fight scene. So they did, and it's like, wow, that would have made the end of that movie entirely different.
Yeah,
and very strange. And I'm so glad they didn't use it.
Yeah,
it's a fun scene. I recommend people watch it just for the sheer weirdness and fun of it. But I'm so glad they didn't do that, and I'm glad that they left Cassel at the end still as an angel.
Yeah, I think it
better for that movie.
It worked better for sure, and I love the shot of him alone.
Yes, on the statue
is superb. So kind of glad they went with that.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, this week we're back to talking about films we have seen recently. Do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So I will start with the Three Musketeers d'Artagnan.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a new French version.
Yeah.
I think it's the first French version since the 60s, I think. I read somewhere.
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, since the French have actually done a version. There's been so many English versions since then. With varying degrees of success. I quite like the BBC series. In parts, it's fun enough. I really like the what's his name? Is it one of the Andersons? It's the really steampunky one.
Oh God, yes, I remember that.
It
is a Wes and it is a fucking W.S. Anderson movie.
Yes, W.S. Anderson, that's right. With that movie is just bonkers, but I love it. It's got a great cast. It's got flying fucking ships in it, so I'm totally sold. Yeah. And it's just big dumb fun, and I really like that. Grew up with the Muskehounds,
Mm-hmm.
and I absolutely, my favourite is still the 70s version with Michael York.
Yeah, tremendous.
Still my favourite version. It's even the older versions, black and white and 30s versions and stuff. I have a real fondness for the Three Musketeers, so much so that I really wanted to run a D&D campaign set in that thing, but nobody wanted to play it with me. Nobody liked that period, and no one wanted to do it, so I never ended up doing it. But I still live in hope.
I like the period. I think that would be a really fun idea.
Yeah, I do. I like the idea of having pistols and stuff in D&D. And
I wouldn't want to play as the characters. I'd want to do my own character in that period. But yeah,
it would obviously be a D&D version of that.
Yeah, just a D20.
Yeah,
I'd be down with that. Sounds fun.
So anyway, so this version, it's going to be done in 2 parts. So the first one with D'Artagnan, and the second part is Milady.
Mm-hmm.
So it's directed by Martin Bourboulon. Sorry, I'm going to absolutely butcher these names. So it's François Civelle, Vincent Cassel, Romain Durs, Poi Marmaille, and Eva Green.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, one of the big selling points for me, because I absolutely adore Eva Green.
Of course.
But it's Musketeers, Eva Green. I'm sold.
Yeah.
So basically, it runs with the usual beats. D'Artagnan comes from Gascony to Paris to become a musketeer. Only this one starts with basically him trying to defend this woman, and getting shot by Milady and buried.
Oh.
And then he sort of crawls out of the grave. He was saved by his Bible.
Right. Caught the bullet, did it?
Sorry?
Caught the bullet.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, why he ended up unconscious is another matter, but sure.
Might have hit his head. I mean, you'd still be on your ass.
So. Sure, I'm sure. Yeah. If you go all the way through. But so yeah. Anyway, they've done that. He goes. Then the usual stuff. He bumps into the Musketeers. He ends up having to duel them each after thing. The Cardinal's guards turn up. All that, all those sorts of things. What's different in this one is it has a Huguenot sort of subplot with Athos's brother. So Athos, there's one point where they ask Athos whether he's a Protestant or not, and he says yes. Which I don't remember in the book whether he's a Protestant. I don't think he is. But they've decided in this version to make him a Protestant, and his brother is a known Huguenot and is living in I think it's La Rochelle, where the Huguenots were
right
in this time period. So I don't know whether you know about the Huguenots.
No.
So in France was probably still is. I suppose it. I mean, it's a republic now, so no, I guess not. But it was a Catholic country. Most of fucking Europe, apart from us and the Dutch, were Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
But there were French Protestants called Huguenots, and there's was a big thing about the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, where that they were. I think this is before. Yeah, this is before that, because they mention it. But all the Huguenots in this town were absolutely slaughtered by the Catholics. They murdered them all. And then this is a bit later, but they still kind of want to kill them all anyway. And there was a plot backed by England to sort of get these Huguenots, to try and take over the country, so they would be not a Catholic country anymore. And it was the Duke of Buckingham actually was behind, or was part of that plot. He ended up getting murdered on the docks at one point. Anyway, besides the point, anyway. But they decided to add that to the story of the Musketeers.
Right. So
there's then this thing where, after all the usual beats, they've come together. they have this sort of drink. They beat the Cardinals guard. They have this drink. You get to know the characters. I mean, you don't, but I'll get to that. And then it's the next morning, and Athos is waking up, and played by Vincent Kessel, and he wakes up, and there's a dead woman next to him, naked, dead woman, and the guards burst in, and he's got a dagger in his hand. So of course he's obviously murdered her. Of course he fucking hasn't. It's fucking, Anyway, but they then have this plot where they have to go and they split up. They find, he's put on trial. He's then sentenced to basically hang. They've been given like 3 days or something to prove his innocence. So they discover that there was some connection between what happened here and the beginning where D'Artagnan was shot. So they go back to that place. They find a number of signet rings from different houses. So they split up and they go their separate ways to try and find who these rings belong to, and to see if they can find out who this girl is that they saw. Now they do well. Then they go to the body. They see D'Artagnan. That's how they connect it. So D'Artagnan sees the body and recognizes it as the girl he tried to save in the beginning.
Sure.
So then there's this, all that sort of stuff. So I won't sort of go into how it ends, but I am probably going to spoil a few bits and pieces. So I will say it looks lovely. It's really beautifully filmed. For the most part, the cast's great. The extra story is a little odd, but I kind of like it. It's an interesting idea. I don't think it's terribly well executed.
Right.
And one of the worst things about the movie is you don't really get to know any of the Musketeers other than Vincent Kessel's character. That there's
well, I guess you've got a second part, maybe.
Yeah, there is. But that's kind of a problem for your first part. For me, I think if you're doing a first part, then you want everybody to know who these characters are.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on how they're going to execute that second part, but I agree in principle they should really use the first part to introduce their characters properly and then move on to their second part. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get they're sort of so I think they're slightly underdeveloped, especially Porthos, who the only thing you get to know about Porthos is that he's now bisexual. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. And you get a brief scene with Aramis where he tortures a guy, and it's like, okay, so he's that kind of guy. So I suppose most people have seen a version of Musketeers. I would say
it would be hard not to have.
And I think most people kind of know what those characters are. But
I think even if you've not watched a movie, you know who those characters are.
Yeah, but I think for me, the characters were terribly underdone. They just didn't feel.
Oh, I don't think their popularity or people's knowledge of a character gives you an excuse to just not bother explaining who they are or showing us who they are, because there could be different interpretations of those characters anyway. So, if I'm going to root for or despise someone, I need reasons, motivations, why. Yeah.
The guy, Louis Garrel, who was playing the King, was okay. I think the King's always one of those thankless parts in this.
For sure.
Musketeers, because he's usually portrayed as a bit of a boob and a bit, he's not quite the boob in this, but he is still the usual sort of, slightly feckless sort of character.
Yeah.
But I quite liked his performance. The guy playing the Cardinal, Eric Ruff, he was a non-entity.
Oh,
and
really?
This is one of the things that I thought was a bit odd. So Vincent Kessel, I know older, in the book, the Musketeers are I think they're only in their 20s, and I know that in most versions they're portrayed as older than that usually, even in my favourite version. I mean, what's his name? He plays Athos in for fuck's sake, my brain. Oliver Reed. So Oliver Reed is definitely older than he should be, you know.
Yeah.
And in this version, Vincent Cassel really is too old. And I think the thing that they missed on, really, is Vincent Cassel should have been the fucking Cardinal. He's got such a menacing presence. He would have been so much better as the Cardinal. You know, as a personal thing, I thought he was not exactly miscast as Athos, but I think he would have been better as the Cardinal, especially because as the Cardinal in this seemed to be really not there. And even Eva Green, as much as I really wanted to love her as Milady, she's kind of just playing her as characters she's played before. She wasn't really doing.
And Eva Green is very capable.
Yes,
that's kind of a shame.
For me, it's just. I mean, she's not bad. But it was just. Oh, it's the character she's doing.
It kind of smacks of we hired you.
Yes,
because you've done this role, and we just want you to be that role, but in this movie.
I know they trained. I think they did a stupid amount of training for the sword fights. Right now,
good.
The sword fights are good, except.
I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, you know, when you look at films in the past where you've got like Christopher Lee, who can actually sword fight, you've got a long way to go to kind of come close to that kind of thing. The Musketeers historically were kind of spoiled by some of the sword fights in previous Musketeer adaptations.
I mean, to be fair, if you're not going to put work in for the sword fights in a Musketeer movie,
you're in trouble. Yeah.
But the problem with it, especially the first big fight scene they have, is the director for some reason decided to be too close and use shaky cam.
Oh no, not for a sword fight.
So you get You could. The annoying thing is you can tell they're good. You can tell what they're doing is good, but it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, just pull back and let us watch the fucking fight.
There is a time for shaky cam and a time for not shaky cam. We will discuss this later. With
do you know when the best time for shaky cam was? The first Bourne movie. Fucking leave it there. Okay?
Well, I would argue. I think the shaky cam in the Godzilla -1 trailer, which we'll come to later, is superb. Okay, yeah. I think if you're trying to evoke panic, chaos, then that kind of frenetic camera movement, Saving Private Ryan's a great example of that working reasonably well, although Spielberg doesn't shake too much, but there's a bit of it. But not for sword fights. No, especially not when they can actually sword fight, because that's what you do when you've got like fucking Steven Seagal. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's just waving a fucking knife around in front of the camera. That's like, okay, we'll just shake it up a bit, and that'll be fine. No, not when they're actually capable. That's really frustrating, especially if you can see that they are capable of the sword fight, but the direction is letting them down. That's a real shame.
And there's a
because that is what you watch a Musket. And I mean, characterization aside and great acting aside, you're watching it for some sword fights.
Exactly.
It's kind of what it's about.
It's slightly annoying because I think there is a good movie here.
Yeah. Was it enough for you to watch the sequel?
Yes.
Okay, that's something.
So I will give it that. I will definitely I will definitely watch. Because, like I said, they're not really bad performances. They're not. Kessel's, he's great. He's Vincent Cassel. He's doing a pretty good Athos. I just think he would have been a better Cardinal. And as I said, that's just a personal thing. I think what he does as that character is actually pretty good. He's good as it is. Milady, it's Eva Green, and it's a good performance. It's just. I wanted something a little more, Maybe I'm just being greedy. Maybe I just
maybe
a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But I said mostly it's directed well. The performances, with the exception of a few like the Cardinal, I think, a non-entity. But I think that's more because of the fact that you don't see enough of him, and he's not given. I don't think, because I think there's probably, scenes where he probably would have been a little more threatening, maybe more menacing. But in this, he doesn't really have that. In the Michael York one, it's Charlton Heston, and Charlton Heston just has this gravitas where he can be threatening by just looming over a character.
Oh yeah.
This guy doesn't have that, and it's a little bit, just disappointing for me. But as I said, I will watch the second because I'm hoping that the second one will
redeem
it. Maybe pick it up a notch or two, because it's not a bad version by any shape. It's not a bad version at all, and I've seen so many fucking awful versions. There's currently a version at the moment which I've seen the trailer for that's got a Black D'Artagnan and what's his name? Is it Cosmo? Michael Cosmo? It's a big sort of English actor or Scottish actor. He's playing, I think, Travail, and it's like, I saw the trailer for that and was like, whoa, I'm not touching that one. So it's nowhere near that bad, and it's it does it kind of what it says it was, and it kind of adds things. But maybe I think because it's added these new elements, I think it kind of takes away from what it is. It doesn't give you the time to develop what's already there.
Sure.
So I kind of would. I'd say if you've seen other versions and you like the Musketeers, I would say give it a go. I would say if you haven't ever seen a Musketeers version, I would say watch the 70s one or watch earlier versions first.
Okay.
I would personally say don't make this your first ever.
No, sure.
Musketeers
movie.
But as I said, I would watch this. I will watch the second. So it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's move on to Alien 1897, the last voyage of the Demeter, a film that we've both watched. Quite separately. I was kind of secretly hoping you'd have watched it as well, so worked out quite well. So effectively adapting the captain's log from Bram Stoker's novel.
Very small part of the novel.
It is. It's a very big part of this film. Yes. So yes, effectively, film is it opens with the merchant ship Demeter kind of coming in, washing up, barely intact, ruined, and they find the captain's log, and then we kind of get the recap of how the ship got to where it is. Obviously, they have a Dracula on board, and he's going to take them out one by one. Directed by I forget his name, Andre Overdahl. Now I really like his other work. I'm a big fan. Trollhunter was great.
Trollhunter's great.
I quite liked the Autopsy of Jane Doe. I thought was good.
That's been on my list for ages.
It's good. I quite like that movie. And I thought Scary Story was okay. Like I didn't dislike it. And I will say I think this movie for the most part was reasonably well shot. I think some of the shots are actually quite great in this.
Yeah, there's some really beautiful shots in it. And
similarly, I think it's really well acted. I think the cast are pretty good for the most part.
I will say Liam Cunningham is massively underused.
That dude, like, he's kind of criminally underused in almost everything he's in, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
He is so talented. And, like, as soon as I saw him in this, I was like, oh, awesome.
Yep, I thought, the captain's role is going to be
the captain's role is nailed. I know. And he we won't go too much into spoilers, but he lasts a very long time for someone with so little screen time.
Yeah, that's
like I thought he's gonna die in the opening fucking scenes, and then that'll be that. But
okay, certain spoilers are going to be.
Yeah, some of it's inevitable. Yes,
because we all know what happened. I mean, obviously we all know. Most people who've ever seen a Dracula movie or read a book that has the Demeter in knows that everybody on board dies.
Well, this is the central problem of a film like this. You know, you're making a Titanic.
Except for the one that jumps overboard.
Yes, you're making a Titanic movie. We know how your movie's ending.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're making a Last Voyage of the Demeter movie, a movie about the Demeter. Yeah. We know all hands killed on board.
The captain is the last guy on the wheel. Is kind of how it's set up. So you think, oh well, Liam Kelly is going to be great. Yeah, no. It's like he's on screen. He's great.
Present. He is present for a very long time in this film. He is on screen very little in this film.
Yeah. It's really weird.
Yes, but you're right. He's criminally underused. He is tremendous every time he is on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So, rounding out the cast, Corey Hawkins as Clemens, doctor who joins the Demeter kind of last minute, saves the captain's son, so the captain kind of takes him on. Grandson, sorry. Yes, grandson. We have Alyssa yeah, I'm just going to butcher that name. She plays Anna, who is a stowaway aboard the ship. We've got who else have we got in this?
So we've got John Barros as Joseph.
Yes,
we've got
the cook.
David Dasmalchen, who is he's another great actor,
and he's superb in this. Actually, I thought he was really good. It's nice to see him get a bigger role because he quite often just does small roles, and he's always really good. But
I think his most crowd pleasing role is the Spot.
Yes,
in Suicide Squad. I think people absolutely love that character, and of course his character in Ant-Man as well. People, even though he's not in it an awful lot, what he does with that character in Ant-Man is great.
Yeah, I always remember him from The Dark Knight. That's always the film I think of him from, and I know it's a really tiny role, but I always remember him from that role. I think he just does a really good job. But so the cast I thought were superb for the most part. So I think I will say I didn't hate this movie.
No,
I liked it. I think it's pretty average.
Yeah,
is where I am.
I'd go with that.
I think the problem is I can see that this could have been brilliant.
The problem they have is they really wanted to have they wanted to do a monster movie.
Yeah.
And they've kind of picked the wrong monster.
The thing I didn't understand, and maybe you felt this way, I really dug it at first when Dracula was quite monstrous.
Yeah.
Because I thought he is desperate for blood, and through the movie he's going to feed and become more human.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
Not really. No,
he's pretty much just Man-Bat the entire film.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's basically he's a Nosy in this. He's blatantly you're Nosy.
But even to the point where, and this isn't really a spoiler, you fucking know, if you know the story of Dracula, you know he makes it to fucking England. This is not a spoiler.
Yeah.
Even when he's in England, he still looks like a fucking hideous creature. I'm like, how does this work now? I guess
But the weird thing I thought is okay. So he's got so it's a little bit of a spoiler, but so the stowaway is actually his meal. It's in one of his boxes of earth.
Yes,
and she
Anna has been sustaining him through his trip.
She's a Roma girl that they put on there to basically be his life.
I liked as an explanation as to how he survived the trip. I liked that, but it did immediately then throw my theory out the window of him being desperate for blood.
Yeah, and then he slaughters every one of the animals. Like, but not like any subtlety.
No
or
finesse.
Anything. He just completely.
Yeah. They're like, oh, rabid dog must have done this.
It's like, where the fuck is a rabid dog come from? What?
Well, they blame the dog. It's clearly not rabid. The ship's dog is
yes.
super chill as well, and it's like, no.
The ship's dog is lovely. That's very long.
This is one of the biggest problems with this movie. Actually, is the crew's inability to worry or panic about what the fuck's going on. Like, people start disappearing for days on end. People are just disappearing, and they're like, "Where did he go? I don't know. There's some blood and some shit over there."
It's actually worse than that, because there's an initial sort of panic, and there's initial. Oh,
well, they're worried that it's a virus.
The cook is really religious and really like, oh, it's evil, blah 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 blah. And we've already had, when they're loading the boxes at the beginning, there was already he needs, I think it was like 2-3 crewmen. So the captain goes to the recruiting office or whatever the hell it is, or the tavern, and he says, "Oh, I need 3 people," blah blah blah, and they go along the thing, and Clements is there, and he says, "Oh, I'm a doctor," blah blah blah, and they're like, "Oh no, don't want you." They grab this bloke. This bloke comes along. He sees the symbol of the dragon on the boxes, and he's like,
"Nope,
fuck this shit. I'm out. No way.
Yeah,
fuck off." Now, we all know fucking sailors are superstitious lot. They do this sort of thing where they're like superstitious for 5 minutes and then they forget it.
And then they get over it.
Yeah, like really quickly. It's like...
And honestly, I know this movie does kind of it leans into the racism of the period and stuff, and I'm fine with that. Honestly,
I actually liked the fact that they had so
did I. But I will say,
the Black Doctor, the first Black Doctor from Cambridge, and
that was great.
He couldn't get a job. That's how you. For me, that's how you do that character.
I completely agree. I will say the thing the only thing I take issue with in that whole scenario, because I am actually fully on board with the racial commentary in this film. The thing I don't get is this, like you said, it's at odds with this superstition. If I'm superstitious, if I'm nervous, because they're massively superstitious about the having a woman on board is like, they're like, oh my god, it's bad luck, she's brought this on us, and whatever. If I was superstitious and paranoid about all of this stuff, I'd be like, "You're a fucking doctor? Yeah, you're coming. We need a doctor. That you are on board, my friend.
Yeah.
You are 100% on board this shit."
It is a bit weird. They obviously wanted to go for the hero things.
Sure, and it's fine. It's a little contrived, because it is like, a ship's doctor would be fucking useful, guys.
For me, the worst thing about the crew and how stupid they are is, so all the animals are slaughtered. They don't bother to stop, and because they can't stop because they need that money, and it's like, really? Okay, fine. And then worse than that, so this is going to be a spoiler. One of the crewmen basically gets bitten and turns, and he's on the deck.
Yes.
And they see him catch fire.
He not just catch fire, not a little bit. He explodes into flames.
Full on, burns out.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
they get over it pretty quick.
They get over it pretty quickly, and 2, they then think, well, the creature that made them, the creature that's turned
the creature that only attacks during the night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Could it be related?
I'm going to go and look for that creature
in the dark
at fucking night.
I know.
You think, hang on a minute, right? You've got the rigging. You've got the ability to take out these crates onto the deck in sunlight.
Yep.
And
imagine Dracula coming out of his crate and discovering it's fucking outside in the day.
Yeah.
Just smash them open on the deck. Problem solved. I think one of the biggest problems this film has is that it's a neat concept, but a merchant ship is not big enough. Like, it's not really big enough.
With how big the ship was.
I mean, it's a big ship, but it's not really big enough for a full-size Dracula to be hiding around all the time and then never finding it.
In the book and in most versions, the crew start getting ill. They start dying.
Yes, it's much more subtle, and that would have worked far better.
Yeah, it's not a monster is rampaging through the fucking ship.
I mean,
and taking out all the animals.
The livestock thing alone was like, Jesus Christ, like, how unsubtle is this Dracula?
Yeah,
you know, because Dracula is shown to have a lot of intelligence, and he's quite a smart person.
Yeah, no, this was just a monster.
He was just a mindless creature, the way he was behaving.
And he looked fucking cool.
Oh no, I love a lot of the visuals of this film. I really like. Some of the CG doesn't land, but some of it, certainly when he's flying around in the fog outside in the rain, that stuff looks great. I was like, this is awesome.
There's some really beautiful shots of him flying around the rigging and stuff, and the sails.
Really good.
Really cool. And when there's certain bits where he attacks people, they're like, wow, that's actually really fucking cool. There's a bit with, okay, I won't specifically say who because I don't want to spoil it too much.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one specific character where he's in a cabin.
Yes.
And there's like a sort of brief siege of that cabin.
Yeah.
And how that scene plays out. All lovely, beautifully done.
Yeah.
Really great scene. Really effective. Really well acted by that specific actor. I think when you see the movie, you'll know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil that scene because it's such a good scene. And that's, I think, one of the problems with this movie. There are so many little glimmers of what could be, but
I think if you're gonna do Nosferatu, I mean, even Nosferatu, I mean, even Orlok or Dracula in that,
horrible. And
he's monstrous, but he could pass as just someone that's kind of quite an ugly, weird looking human.
Yes.
This is clearly a monster. There is no doubt.
This is full on monster.
And the thing that they did with Nosferatu is they're reasonably close to the story of the Demeter, where it's a plague. They think it's a plague on the ship. They've brought a plague into London. The ship arrives and everyone's died of plague, but the logbook says they got ill and died.
Is it Antwerp?
Yeah, I think so.
Exactly. That's the.
And if they'd done it subtle, that could have really worked.
Mm-hmm. If it was more of a stalking thing and less of the actual,
that would have been great.
I mean, what the other thing that doesn't really make sense is the timeline that goes along for this. Is all the stuff with when he's being the monstrous and kind of finishing off the crew should have been done like on the last day.
Yeah.
Because it's a long journey from bloody Romania to England.
Well, I thought that when he killed all of the livestock, I was like, guys, don't you need to fucking turn around now? Do you have food to make this voyage now?
Yeah, it was done too early.
Yeah,
I know that what they're doing is they're saying, oh no, this is a monstrous Dracula. He needs the blood. He needs it, so he's gonna.
Yeah, but the crew would logically be like, we need to pull into some port on the way. We're not going to make it.
Alarm bells should be ringing, and I don't care about the money because I
don't want to starve to death at sea. Yeah,
exactly. We're either starve to death or this thing will kill us all.
Yeah,
it just doesn't really make sense in the movie.
But I would say I do think there are some great shots in this film.
Yes.
I think the cast are great. I really liked Corey Hawkins as Clemens. I actually thought was really good.
He's actually really good.
And I really loved the first mate. I thought that performance was superb.
Yeah.
And as you said, the captain Liam Cunningham's always good.
And Corey Hawkins actually.
I thought he was fantastic in this.
Another example of American doing an actually pretty good accent.
Properly good accent. He, as an actual British person, he pulled it off really well.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
really
obviously there are bits and pieces where
of course
you notice, but
usually it's painful, right? He was really good.
Within the last year.
Yeah.
The only better when that is, I forget the name of the actor, but it was a guy who played Tangerine. Was it Tangerine or Lemon in Bullet Train?
Oh yes.
His Cockney accent was fucking amazing.
Yes, it was. It was very.
He was so good because he's American as well.
Yeah.
And his Cockney accent was because I think maybe because he spent a lot of time with Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Possibly.
I think they helped him out greatly with his accent in that. The alternate is what's his face who plays Rhodey? in
which
in Iron Man, the second one,
the second roadie.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle does a Cockney in, now what film is it? Fuck, is it not the Italian? Is it the Italian Job? Or was it?
I don't ever remember Don Cheadle doing a Cockney accent.
Oh, dude, I can't remember what bloody movie it is now off the top of my head. Don Cheadle's doing a Cockney accent in these movies, and it is so bad.
Oh no, because I think Don Cheadle's a great actor. Actually, this is just like a one-off time. He just massively missed the mark.
Cockney
no! I'm glad I missed that.
Brutally bad.
Maybe I've erased it from my brain.
But Corey Hawkins, no,
he's great.
I liked his performance, liked his thing, and I said, bloody Leon Cunningham, so underused. It's like I kind of thought he would be the main character, actually.
Well, it's the captain's log.
Yes.
So you kind of assume that, he's going to be the last person. Now, obviously, they choose not to do that, and you do get this thing at the end. I did think at the end I was like,
the thing is, like,
well, spoilers. There's spoilers, aren't there?
Because of the way the movie was going, I knew that was how it was going to end.
Well, I knew that was how it was going to end, right? But I was like, are they going to say at the end that his name is actually Van Helsing or something like that?
I'm glad they didn't.
I was like, are you going to do that? And they didn't. Thankfully, they didn't do that. But you do get this awkward ending where the survivors.
You thought, actually, I did think, are they going to make him
Van Helsing?
Yes, yeah. Or Seward.
Yes, yeah. But I did have that moment, and then I was like, okay, they're not going to do that. But then there's this really awkward thing where he's like, I am going to hunt and kill Dracula. And it's like, and he went on to do none of those things. Because we know the story.
I did like the callback in that scene, though.
No, it was great. Again, really well filmed scene, nice callback.
Cool.
Nice, yeah.
It was, I mean, again, you could see what they were going to, I knew they were going to do it.
Yeah.
As soon as he got where he was going, I thought, he's going to do the thing with the ship.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. It was cool. I did like that.
I feel like we've said a lot of negative about this film. I did enjoy it, and I would recommend watching it, just with the caveat that it is kind of silly.
Yeah,
mainly due to their obsession with making Dracula this feral beast.
Yeah. Probably monstrous, which I think again,
and it just makes him look dumb, because it's like you would drag this out as long as possible and keep the blood supply going as long as possible.
That's the problem with the movie, is that they've written it in a way that doesn't work with what they're trying to do.
Yes.
If with a few tweaks and making it
could have been great,
making it more gradual, would have made a lot more sense. Have the first, they could have all they needed to do was have the first part of the voyage, just a few little hints that something's happening.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
Some of the one or two of the animals.
The ship's dog got into one of the cages, killed one of the animals.
With a few tweaks, it could have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, agreed.
But they wanted to hit you so hard early that it just didn't work. Didn't make sense within that.
Yeah.
Thing.
I agree.
So like you said, I would recommend it to certainly.
I had fun, and I think the cast are great. I think the direction's really good. It's just the setup doesn't quite work for the story they're telling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
and it's got some great performances. So Anyway, what else have you watched?
So I will go with The Electrical Life of Louis Wain.
Sure.
So this is it's a couple of years old, but it's just come out on Netflix, and I thought, on a whim, I went for it, mainly because for two reasons. One, it's a Victorian set bio, and that's my deal. I love Victorian stuff.
And cats are cool.
And Cumberbatch is one of those actors that I love and hate. He can be great, and he can also be a pain in the ass. He's one of those weird actors for me that I flip from loving and hating.
Sure.
And I thought I saw I watched the trailer again because I was tempted when it first came out to go and see it at the cinema, and I didn't.
Right.
And then I saw the trailer again. And thought, okay, I'm fine. I'm gonna go with it. So it's about the artist Louis Wain who painted cats.
Yeah.
He was an illustrator, but he basically he worked for the Illustrated News, and most early stuff was going to agricultural shows and things like that, and he could draw from memory, and he could draw animals incredibly quickly, like really really quickly, and so that was one of the reasons why. However, he was incredibly eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
Not just eccentric, actually, he was schizophrenic. But obviously, he at first he just came across as eccentric. He lived in a house. His father had died. In the beginning, when we first get there, we see him in an asylum in later life, and then it moves to basically the funeral of his father, and he's living in this house. They have very little money, but they obviously were a well-to-do family at one point. But then they're now living on what he earns, and there are like 6 of them, I think it is. So he's all these sisters and his mother, and he is obsessed with electricity.
Right.
So he has these ideas that he's going to be a playwright and a composer, and he's going to invent. He's got all these patent pendings on electrical devices and electrical ideas. So he has this sort of thing, and the drawing is very much second to him. He kind of only really does it because it makes him money.
Right.
To which his oldest sister, Caroline, played by the wonderful Andrea Riseborough, despairs. She's like, no, what are you doing? Because he's offered this job and he doesn't take it, and she's like, we're in debt. we got to pay the butcher's bill, and we've got to pay the milk bill, and we've got all these bills that we need. And you're just being you. Why can't you can make money? And he's like, okay, so he takes the job. Emily Richardson, played by, again, the wonderful Claire Foy, is their new governess. Now, she's slightly odd too. When we first are introduced to her character, for some reason, she's hiding in the wardrobe.
Right.
So we learn that she gets anxiety, and when she gets anxious, she wants to be alone, so she hides herself away. The older sister basically wants to get rid of her. But Louis basically falls in love with her, and she with him, and they have this sort of amazing relationship where she recognizes, what he sees in the world, and how he sees the world, and how he sees cats, and how he sees, these things, these amazing things. So they basically, truncating here, they basically get married and they move away, and he still supports his family, but he's through an incident in a theatre toilets, they are the talk of the town, much to his oldest sister's complete shock and horror. So that's when they decide to move to the country away from it all, and while there, they find a cat in their new home, and they give it a name, and they take it for walks and things, and he does all these drawings of it, and he ends up being this is completely true. He ends up being instrumental in the way we now see cats, because before the 1800s, cats weren't, certainly in England, weren't really pets. They were mousers. They were something that you had to get rid of mice. They were kind of seen with superstition, cats weren't really, that beloved then. It was a household pet was a dog. Household pets were not really cats. They were just something that a family would have, literally just to be to mousers.
Yeah.
His illustrations of cats, very anthropomorphized cats, and I didn't know a lot about this artist. I know of his work. I know a lot of the there are like pictures of cats fishing, and there are cat children arguing in school, and all that sort of stuff. So it's that kind of the picture of the dogs playing cards that is in loads of movies and everybody knows that picture. It's like that for cats,
right?
And he basically the Cat Appreciation Society kind of started from getting more traction, and women and children started seeing cats as cute and actually more worthy of being pets, kind of through his work. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's actually true. Unfortunately, he becomes more erratic and more. He has this theory that cats' brains will get bigger, they will turn blue, and they will become a sentient walking and talking race. He has, he's completely convinced that this is what will happen. And I'm slightly going to spoil things, but his wife basically gets cancer, and she's kind of the only thing that grounds him. She's the only one that really sees the way he is and what he brings to the world, as it were. And he despairs that without her, he will become something else. He has this reoccurring dream that he's had from childhood where he's drowning, and she sort of, whenever that happens to him, she grounds him. She sets him out. And after that, after she dies, it gets sort of worse for him. And one of his younger sisters, Mary, played by Hayley Squires, she ends up having a more severe form of schizophrenia, and right. She ends up. He moves back with his sisters, and they move to the country so that she can, at first, so that they can he can support them. They can support him, and they can support each other better. But she ends up basically being institutionalized, and it's got amazing cast. You've got Toby Jones as Sir William Ingram, who throughout his life supported him. He sees that, I think, without his help and without the money that he gave him, the family probably would have starved and been completely destitute. And his character is great. There's all of the sisters, Sharon Rooney, Amy Lee Wood, they're all really great actors. You've got Adam Akatar is this guy that he bumps into on a train, who comes into his life later and helps him out. Richard Ayoade's in it as the composer Henry Wood.
I love Richard Ayoade.
Julian Barrett as Dr. Elphick. Very small things. Now, this is the weirdest one, and I kind of love it, and it's also just almost too weird. So they have Nick Cave, another Nick Cave performance. Nick Cave as H.G. Wells.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it might work. I don't know.
No, but it's even weirder than that, because it's not really a spoiler, but you know what H.G. Wells looks like. H.G. Wells was quite a stocky. Well, most pictures you see of H.G. Wells show him as quite a stocky chap with a big bristling moustache.
Yeah.
This version of H.G. Wells is just Nick Cave.
Right, Nick Cave is like, look, I'm on tour. I'm not fucking doing anything. I'll just rock up.
Him. Like, he's basically recording a radio, or say recording. He's doing a radio message for reasons I won't go into. But he's doing this radio message, and it's H.G. Wells, and it's just like, well, that's just Nick Cave being Nick Cave. Yeah. It's really fucking weird. But and the thing is this is going to sound odd because of what I'm going to say about the next movie I'm gonna review. But for me, it kind of worked in the weirdness of the movie, and the movie itself is filmed at times with you have these scenes where the scene will become a painting.
Right.
He'll be sat in this sort of field, and it'll become this painting, and it's the CG's not great, but it's for what they're doing, it looks beautiful. As his life went on and he became more erratic and became more, I guess the schizophrenia became more entrenched.
Yeah.
His cats became more psychedelic even. And his later work almost looks like pop art. It's really weird, sort of like floral cats and like really sort of oddly beautiful sort of surreal images of these cats.
Mm.
And this over sort of abiding thing in his life that was electricity. He saw all life as electricity, and all electricity as there's a scene where he goes to a boxing match, and there's the particular boxer who's quite a small chap compared to who he's fighting, but he was this big famous boxer because he was flamboyant and he knew how to work the crowd, and he says that's it. He has the electricity. This is what I'm talking about. And his friend doesn't get it. His friend's like, I don't know what you mean. I don't understand what you're saying. He says, no. Look at him. Look at the way the effect he has on the crowd. This is what electricity is and stuff. And it's really weird because he obviously has these sort of amazing ideas, but no one fucking understands him at all.
Mm.
And because he has these sort of moments where, you know, he's at this cat fete at one point, and he starts talking to this woman, like I said, about his idea of, cats will evolve into these, they'll turn blue because of lightning, and it's like, whoa, okay.
Okay, dude.
Okay, yeah. This movie hit me quite a lot. There wasn't a lot of times where I was like, oh my god, tearing up. Benedict Cumberbatch in this is utterly amazing.
Mm. See, like you said though, when he's on,
yes,
he is on.
I think this is my favourite Cumberbatch performance.
Wow, really?
I loved this movie so much.
That's incredible.
And it's a quite an odd, quirky movie at times.
Yeah.
It has these little bits that you know, because of how the character is, because of how this guy saw the world, and it shows you how he saw the world, you know, and it's not weird for weirdness' sake. It's because of his condition and because of how he saw things, and that's what worked for me. It's so brilliant, and it's directed by Will Sharp, who is an actor who I've seen in a number of things that I quite liked. He was in this Flowers and Gary Hadji, and I think this is his first. I think this is directorial debut, and it's wonderful. He does such a wonderful job of bringing out these characters, and they're all really good. Claire Foy is wonderful as his wife, and Toby Jones is, you know, it's only a small part, but it's Toby Jones, and he's wonderful as his sort of mentor and the guy who kind of saves him a number of times. And all of his sisters are all wonderfully played by these great actresses. I can't say how much I love this movie. I can't express how much I love this movie. It's so beautifully done. It's so wonderful, and it's, like I said, it's now my favourite Cumberbatch performance. He's so good as this incredibly talented, but, you know, ill man.
Yeah, and progressively.
Yes, progressively, you know, worse. And you know, there's one I would say, in his life, because he only saw these things as these pictures as oh, it's just something that I do. He never copywrote any of them.
Wow.
So he never got any bloody money from any of it, really. He was only got what he was paid for, his initial payments. He never got, so people could reproduce all of his work whenever they bloody well wanted.
That's such a shame.
And it's awful. What happened to him was terrible, and it's done in this so well, and at times so delicately. I fucking love this movie, and as I said, it is really not going to be for everybody, But I would say anybody who loves biographies, and anybody who loves art and Victorian art, I think they'll love this movie. I think it's so nice, it's so beautifully done, and it will really hit you in the feels. It's a great movie. I love it. I just only wish I would have seen it in the cinema. Okay. I wish I would have seen it earlier.
Well, that's great news. I may well watch this. The last a biographical film I watched of his was Turing, and I wasn't so impressed by that one.
No, he's much better in this.
Oh, great. I will definitely check this out based on what you're saying. Sounds great. Yeah. Well, awesome. I have watched a long time ago older... Sorry?
In a galaxy far, far away.
No, fuck no, I don't go there anymore. Fuck that. I watched...
It's dead to me now.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Older Gods, which is a reasonably, very low budget, Lovecraftian style horror movie.
I don't know how I missed this one.
It's very low budget, and I don't think it's been a lot of press. A friend of mine kind of mentioned it because he knows I like the Lovecraftian stuff. This is a low budget indie movie shot during the pandemic, and so I will forgive it some of the things, so you can kind of see the pandemic and budget kind of creeping in places. There are a lot of phone calls, conversations over the phone as opposed to in person, and all of that. That aside,
so it's not a period movie then?
No, it's not a period movie. Basically, it's kind of modernish day, I guess. Mm-hmm. But effectively, a man has a heavily pregnant wife, and he gets a message from his friend who has died, a video message, and so he heads to try and investigate this kind of apocalyptic cult that he feels caused the death of his friend. The film it's very Lovecraftian in that it's a descent into madness. It's done from a very human perspective. You get glimpses of otherworldly being, and the being speaks to him, tries to actively get him to come on board with the cult thing. But for the most part, it's a very dialogue heavy movie. You're not going to get much in the way of outright gore and horror. There's moments, but it's much more a dialogue character driven film on quite a small scale. You get people seemingly stalking him, and he's hearing voices, and you get some really interesting scenes. Like there's a scene with a police officer which I actually thought was really kind of creepy and weird. In that kind of way of like, well, you're on your own in this place in the middle of nowhere, and this policeman's saying real sus stuff, and then just kind of he says something as he leaves, and it was just like, oh wow, that would really make me unsettled. Actually, that's kind of creepy. It's like I said, it's clearly low budget, but it is very well directed. Some of the shots are really, really pretty in this film, and I think that the lead performance, I'm not sure the name of the actor. I'm just going to try and find it. But the lead performance is superb, which is, good because he's, most of what you're seeing throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Where it kind of falters for me, I mean, first of all, I don't think this film's going to be for everyone. If you're going into this movie wanting the kind of gore or body horror or anything else, you're not going to get that. It's not that kind of movie, particularly.
Yeah.
But the cast is fine for the most part. The biggest problem I had, to be honest, is, and I'm not sure who it was, but the girlfriend or wife on the phone.
Yeah.
Because she's calling him the whole time he's out there. She's like, "We need you back home." Like, kind of important things happening back home. Could you come back? A lot of that feels like it's almost painful exposition in places, and I don't think it's necessarily the writing as much as it is the delivery.
Right.
But I kind of feel like there were a couple of scenes in this, particularly towards the end, where you feel like they probably wanted them to be in the same room but couldn't because of COVID, so they kind of made it a phone call instead, so it kind of feels a bit awkward in places, and some of the delivery feels a bit awkward. That aside, though, I really enjoyed this film. I don't think it's going to be for everyone due to the lack of gore and jump scares and stuff. It's much more of a psychological film. Creepy walks in the woods and creepy stalkers outside the house, and Cthulhu-like deities talking in your brain, with occasional glimpses. You do get glimpses, but I really enjoyed this for the budget, and considering it's filmed during the pandemic. I think it's probably one of the better pandemic movies I've seen. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
I think it's one for you. It's on Amazon, I think.
Okay.
I think that's where I saw it. I can't remember where I saw it. It was ages ago, because I think I saw this film. Sometimes films fall into that awkward period where we've just done an episode, and the next episode's a deep dive. So then it's like 1 week. The next week we're doing the deep dive, and then the week. So it's like a maximum period of time between me. Like, I think I might have watched this like after we've recorded an episode, so it's kind of like immediate, and then I have to wait ages. So I'm kind of trying to remember what it was like. But I really recommend this film if what I've said sounds like it's for you.
So that's Older Gods.
Older Gods, yes. If you're looking for Terrifier, it's not that kind of film. But if you are looking for a more psychological kind of character study movie,
which is this is what we kind of promote it horror wise. Is that more sort of like the idea that it's unsettling and creepy than what people tend to think of as horror these days, which is mostly jump scares and
cats jumping down in front of the camera and out of cupboards. It is horror, but it is. It's a certain sort of horror that I think. I always say I think jump scares need to be earned, and they rarely are in Hollywood. And also, to be honest, as much as we loved Underwater. For what it was, really fun movie with a Lovecraftian style creature. I mean, basically not in name, but pretty much has Cthulhu in it, right? Great movie. It's not Lovecraftian in style, though.
No.
This is very Lovecraftian in style. This is a guy's slow descent into madness on his own because he's investigating fucking otherworldly creatures. That's very Lovecraftian.
That's really Lovecraftian.
Yeah, so it kind of nails that. And if you're going in for a Lovecraftian style of film that is actually in the style of Lovecraft, it's modern day, but it's that kind of style, then you will get that here. Like I said, just bear in mind, as great as this film looks, because it does genuinely is impressive how good this film looks in places. It is very low budget, and it was filmed during the pandemic. So those two things in mind, I absolutely had a blast watching this film. Totally recommend it. Next.
So, the last movie is Asteroid City.
The big one.
Yeah, so Wes Anderson directed. So now the cast list for this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is insane.
Got Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Jeffrey Wright, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton.
Everyone wants to be in Wes Anderson movies, though, right?
Sorry?
Everyone wants to be in Wes Anderson movies.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
Like, he is the man.
Anyone with a sense of quirkiness wants to be in
a
Wes Anderson movie.
100%.
So, I will say, before I review this, I am not the biggest Wes Anderson fan.
I need to be in the mood.
I really liked Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Sure.
I quite liked Isle of Dogs. Royal Tenenbaums I quite enjoyed. Rushmore was okay. And as they've gone along, I like them less and less, I would probably say. So this is... It's got a weird fucking structure.
Oh, I enjoyed Moonrise Kingdom. I was trying to think of the name of it.
See, I really wanted to like Moonrise Kingdom, but didn't.
My ex introduced me to that film, and I actually really enjoyed it. But that's an aside.
Yeah. So this is set in a retro-futuristic 50s.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was just set near a nuke town. That's what it looked like to me.
No.
You know, like one of those towns that you nuke, that they nuke, the military nuke, where they set everything up and then nuke it. It kind of looks like that to me.
I know what you mean. Yes, it kind of is.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, right.
But... So the actual setup is... It's set in that sort of weird... It's set in a 50s...
It never stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. It's set in the 50s of everybody's idea of what the 50s is.
Right.
I can't remember what the film was the other week we were watching that was a similar sort of thing that had... It was set... Oh, I think it was...
Like what Stranger Things does for the fucking 80s.
It was something we were watching that was set in the 80s that it's the idea of what the 80s is to people.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is that, but with the 50s.
Sure.
And it starts with a... Bryan Cranston doing kind of Rod Serling.
Right.
He is... how do I explain this? So he is talking. His scenes are in black and white, and it's filmed in the box ratio, which is what actually Louis Wain was filmed in as well, actually, which I quite liked. So his scenes are filmed in the square ratio, and he explains to you that this is a play,
right,
written by Edward Norton's character Conrad Earp, and what we are seeing is a televised version of the play.
Okay.
And so you get
this does sound quite convoluted.
Yes. So you get these black and white scenes filmed where where it's it's the actors being the actor being the people so it's like
Fourth Kind, where you've got Mila Jovovich is acting out the real life person. She's acting as the real life person, and then they've got actors they're actors being actors acting as people. It just
So you get these scenes where they're supposed to be they're talking about the play.
Yes.
And they're discussing the play.
Uh-huh.
And then you get the actual play, which is in colour and in CinemaScope, and is all big bright colours and this all the big 50 stuff and massive horizons, and it all looks fake as fuck, obviously.
Of course.
The detail is fucking amazing, as usual, is what you'd expect from Anderson. And within the play, you're introduced to Jason Schwartzman's Augie Steenbeck, who is a war photographer.
Okay.
And his son and 3 young daughters.
Right.
Now, his wife has died.
Okay.
But he hasn't told the kids yet.
Oh.
And it's been, I think, months. It seems like they've just been driving around the country.
Right, okay.
And I think the older boy, Woodrow, played by Jake Ryan, has kind of figured that out himself.
Sure.
But he hasn't been told, and the little girls have no idea that their mother is dead.
Right.
They break, so they're actually going to this town, the Asteroid City. This Asteroid City is basically, it's it has a great big asteroid crater where millions of years ago an asteroid landed, impacted, and that's why this town is there. It's not really much of an even town. There's a train station and a flyover, like a motorway flyover that hasn't been finished build. It's just it's an off ramp that goes nowhere. And there's like a hotel sort of thing which has these cabins, and that's run by Steve Carell's character. And they've got really weird things like vending machines that give out like all sorts of things. But there's one specific vending machine that you put your money in, and it gives you it gives you the deed to a plot of land there that
right
you could. So there's like weird, quirky shit like that, right? So he's taking his son there because they're going to have this science fair, and his son has created a device that will project things onto the moon.
Okay.
Other kids that arrive, they've like invented ray guns and jetpacks and stuff like that, right? So that tells you what you're dealing with. So their car actually basically explodes there. They've got this mechanic played by what's his bloody name? Oh God, I forget his name. Anyway, there's this mechanic that says, "Oh, this car says, oh, I've seen this happen before. It's either one of two things: either it's really fixable, or your car will explode and it'll do what happened to that car over there." And like, okay,
right.
So he goes to fix it, and then something is, wow, this is a third option that I didn't see. So basically, they're stranded there. So Jason Schwartzman then phones Tom Hanks and says, who's Tom Hanks, who was his wife's father. He says, you've got to come and get the girls. I'm in this town. And Tom Hanks is like, you haven't told them yet, have you? And he's like, no, I haven't told them. The time never came up. It was never right. Okay, so then he says, okay, I'll come and get the girls. No, right. You've got Scarlett Johansson, who's playing this character called Midge Campbell, who is an actress, and she's there with her daughter, who has invented a way of accelerating the growth of plants.
Right.
However, it then makes them toxic, so you can't eat them.
Okay.
So Scarlett Johansson and Jason Schwartzman's characters kind of have this thing. They're in these opposite cabins where they keep talking to each other through the windows and stuff. And then there are so many characters in this. You've got Maya Hawke, who's like she's in charge of these kids who are on like a coach trip to this place for the festival, and Liev Schreiber is one of the fathers. You've got it's so difficult to just say. It's just full of fucking characters, right? And you know me, you know I love quirky stuff, and you know I like weird things. This movie everything is fucking quirky. Every character is just a quirky character. Everything is just fucking quirky, dialed up to 11. And I fucking hated it.
Yeah, there definitely comes a point where that just becomes tiresome.
Yeah. And it's about memory of how we see things. Again, it's like that, our idea of how we see the past and the future and all that stuff. And I know it's also about grief and moving on and trying to move on and trying to deal with grief. Yep, I get all that. That's fine. That's all stuff that Wes Anderson has done many times.
Yeah.
This movie, I just wanted to fucking end. I sat there and I thought, okay, I got to a point where I was like, do I switch this movie off and just not review it? Because I can't review a movie I haven't watched all the way through.
No, but I guess at that point you were like, I pretty much know this movie now. But yeah. No, I think for the sake of your honor, you must finish.
Yeah, so I did. I stuck with it. I watched it. I fucking hated it. I really dislike this movie. Wes Anderson fans, I even think Wes Anderson fans might struggle with this one. Because the thing is that all the characters, there are so many characters, and it's so sort of weird that it doesn't really have at least a sort of a through, if you like.
Yeah.
It's just there, and it's all just dumped on you. And don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, it's well done. Everybody's, bringing their A game. All the actors are great. I mean, their performances, I can't fault for what they're doing,
Sure.
because most of the time it is just literally them like stood there saying the lines. There's no sort of, like when you watch 50s movies and like really bad B movies, I'm talking about really bad 50s B movies where there are terrible actors and they're talking at each other. You know what I mean? They're not having like easy conversations. They're saying the lines at each other, right? This is wonderful, great actors doing that.
Yeah.
And it's fucking infuriating. It's like, this could be something if they just sort of...
Do you know?
I don't know.
I think...
Not
I don't know.
try, because they're doing exactly what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Wes Anderson knows exactly what he's doing, and he's telling his actors to do exactly what he wants.
They're doing their jobs. They're doing their jobs well. I just don't fucking like it.
No, I must admit, I don't know if we said this at the start of the show. It's really hot, so I'm struggling to think. I don't know if we said this at the start of the show or before we started, but I almost watched this, and I'm really glad, based on what you're telling me, that I didn't, because I would have had a bad time.
I can't recommend this movie at all.
No, it doesn't sound like it's for me.
I would struggle even to recommend it to Wes Anderson fans.
And that is saying something.
Yeah. It's so infuriating because, like I said, everyone's doing what they're doing. They're doing their job. It's got these things in it, and it's got beautiful, it's beautifully filmed. All the actors are there.
Yeah.
I just hated it. It's so infuriating and so sort of, oh, please, can we just do something normal? Or, and I'm not saying you go to a Wes Anderson film to watch normal. I'm not dumb. I know that. And as I said, I love quirky stuff. I said, this is the thing. The H.G. Wells Nick Cave thing in Louis Wain was fucking weird, and it shouldn't work, but it kind of worked for me. But it was one small thing in an otherwise, well, I mean, there's stuff with the art and stuff, but that was more of a, everybody was they're not just playing these weird characters, they're playing. How do I explain this? I honestly don't think I can explain this. It's just Wes Anderson's characters just being fucking over the top weird for the sake of being over the top weird. That's the only way I can kind of put it. That will, to try and make sense of it. It's too much and not enough substance to keep you grounded is I guess what I'm trying to say. It's weirdness has to have to be in a world that's believable to you and have something that keeps you with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Does
definitely.
that make sense?
Yeah.
I something like my go-to weird person is always Lynch. because Lynch will do these spectacular weird things, but he does it in these worlds. Certainly for me, he does it in these worlds where that's just what those worlds are, and there's something for you to grab onto.
Yeah,
they're usually just enough of those worlds to make you believe that you could be in those worlds. You know what I mean? They're usually with just a few things. Lynch's worlds could just be ours.
Yes,
just slightly odder. You know what I mean? They just have those little things. Wes Anderson movies don't have that.
I agree.
Or they have them to varying degrees, I would say. Whereas this one doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have anything that you can just relatable. It's just not. And there's a bit at the end which I won't kind of spoil or anything, but they do this thing near the end where they say something, and fuck it. They say this thing to basically make it seem like a dream, right? So it's to make the whole movie more dreamlike and to give you that idea that, it's a dreamlike state, and it's myth and dream and all that sort of stuff. It's like, fine, okay, I understand what you're saying. I don't fucking buy it. I'm not buying what you're saying. All right, I get it. I know what you're doing. I don't like it. I can't recommend it. Okay.
It's a dream is always the biggest cop out anyway.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a real good reason, and you've done a real good job making it a dream.
Yeah.
No.
I can't recommend this movie. It's just no.
Okay.
It's just too much Wes Anderson. Let's put it that way. It's basically Wes Anderson just let himself go and not, no anchor here. He's just gone.
Yeah.
He's floated away, and he's just
lost in his own pretentiousness.
Yes. Fuck yes. That's how I should have explained.
Because he skirted he skirted that line for a long time, and
yeah, and I quite like there's a lot of
me
movies
too
that are fucking pretentious as fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, the biggest one for us, I think, is probably Zardoz. That movie is pretentious as fuck.
I love Zardoz.
Fucking love Zardoz.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, well, that was a really fun review.
I know why people don't like Zardoz.
Oh no, I 100% understand why people don't like it, and if people give me the criticisms, I'm like, yeah, I agree.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I agree. I don't disagree with you.
Yep.
I would agree.
I don't care.
I'll agree with most criticisms of Zardoz.
Yes.
But I still fucking love Zardoz. So
I don't think there's anything that I could. There's nothing for me that I could grab onto in this movie that would ever make me want to see any part of it ever again.
Wow. Okay, that is okay. That is.
This is a movie that I will quite happily forget if I can.
That is thorough. That's a thorough review there. Okay, well, thank you for finishing the movie. For suffering.
I wouldn't have reviewed it if I didn't finish it.
No. I know now. When we were doing this, when we were setting up, you said to me, "Has you ever watched a film and decided to not finish it?" And like you were like, have you ever not reviewed have you ever decided not to review a film that you were watching? And I was like, no, I don't think so. I was like, I quit like 10 minutes into a lot of movies before I even bother. And now I know why. Because you sat through... How long is this movie? I bet it's long as well, isn't it?
2 hours, I think, ish.
Okay, that's not too bad, but yeah.
Oh, it fucking felt longer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? When a film is badly paced or badly written, it can feel like it goes on forever. Anyway,
I think I was also saying that as well, because in the last couple of weeks, I've seen a number of films that I just thought, I watched it, and I don't have any desire to review that film.
I'm trying to think. I mean, that might have... I mean, I do watch a lot of older stuff that I just don't mention. I mean, most of what I watch is...
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
I don't really watch much. I mean, truth be told, I only really watch most modern stuff for this show. There are few exceptions.
The show forces you to watch modern movies.
Well,
goddammit.
yeah, it does. It kind of does. In the same way that when I was DJing for years, it was like forcing me to listen to new metal stuff because I was DJing a metal pub. I don't generally listen to newer stuff. Same with film, really. I generally am very happy with older stuff, and that's where I tend to go. It's my comfort, you know?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I will watch, actively seek out, good horror, and kaiju stuff.
Oh, yes.
Especially Godzilla. And we'll get to Godzilla very soon, because that's a big topic. However, I do feel bad for poor Gamera. Because Gamera always gets shafted. I feel like on a week...
Gamera's the lesser cousin, isn't he?
Well, he is. He started off as a rip-off, but he became his own thing.
Yes.
Became his own thing, and I love Gamera. Especially Heisei Gamera is... I hate to say it because I love Heisei Godzilla, but Heisei Gamera, the miniatures, that is it's probably the best miniature work I've ever seen in a film. Like, Gamera, the Gamera Heisei trilogy is some of the best looking miniature work you will ever see on film. It's stunning. But I feel like on a week when we should all have been celebrating, hey, Gamera's back, Netflix show.
Yeah.
Toho and fucking Legendary dropped 2 amazing Godzilla trailers, and that's all anyone's talking about, especially -1, but we'll get to that.
It is sad.
So I kind of feel like the thunder's been taken away a little. However, I did watch Gamera Rebirth this week and had a really good time.
See, I kind of was set up for it. I was going to watch it, and I saw the trailer again, and I was like, the animation style has really put me off.
I hate it.
I can't do it.
I hate it. I
didn't end up watching it in the end. I just thought,
I will say,
I need to see, and I'm going to put it off.
I will say it grew on me. By the end, it didn't annoy me as much as it did at the start. But I am really not a fan of CG anime at all, and this has not changed my mind on that. The monster stuff looked cool though. When the monsters are fighting, it was like I can kind of ignore that it's CG, anime.
It's so stark compared to the rest of the animation, though. It's so weird.
Yeah, he looks like properly like Heisei Gamera in this, and a lot of it kind of feels like Heisei as well. There's a lot of Heisei-ness to it. But the story, the battles, are great, really fun. It's the animation style is the only thing that I really didn't enjoy. But in typical Gamera fashion, it's the story of a child and his connection to Gamera, and Gamera is sorry.
As it kind of should be.
As it always pretty. I mean, in the first film, Gamera was effectively Godzilla, but he did save a kid in the first film, and then after that, he became savior of the Earth and the universe, and
friend to children everywhere, wasn't it? Isn't it?
Friend to children everywhere. Absolutely, he was indeed, and they kept that through, I think, every Gamera movie that I can think of. He's always been friend to children, and always had that connection, particularly in like the Heisei stuff and whatever. And we've got that here. The Japanese have been digging too greedily and too deep, and they've awakened stuff. But luckily Gamera shows up. It's more complex than that. There is a plot with evil human bastards doing evil human things. Kind of doomsday culty stuff where they're looking to wipe out, Earth's overpopulated, man. So let's get some kaiju to eat them. But of course Gamera is there to protect. He is the ancient defender, and returns now to defend Earth from these creatures, and does a very good job. The thing that really sells me on this, outside of having Gamera back, which is always lovely, and it's nice to see Gamera doing fights, and in Gamera's fashion as well, I should say. Yeah. Gamera gets beat the fuck up, which is another kind of Gamera trait. He does get beat up a lot. So that continues here. But one of the things that really sold me on this was the characters they're really cool and really fun. The children in it are great.
And that's one of the things that's always put me off of the Gamera stuff overall, actually, is the fact that it's more childish.
When it's good kids, I would definitely recommend watching the Heisei stuff. That is great stuff. But yes, some of the Showa stuff for sure.
The Showa stuff can be really grating.
Some of it's fine, some of it's not. I would watch Showa Godzilla over Showa Gamera any day.
Yeah,
but I could be persuaded to watch Showa.
At times.
Oh yeah,
toe curling.
Yeah, absolutely. But I could be persuaded to watch Heisei Gamera. So over Heisei Godzilla sometimes if I'm in the mood. But yeah, so we've got the Boko is I think the main kid who has the connection to Gamera. And then we meet Joe and Brody. You've got this group of ragtag, the I guess the loser kids, and you've got the tough one of the gang, who kind of looks after Bucko, and you meet this group of American bullies. They're kind of like racist jock assholes, and at least I think they were meant to be American. Pretty sure they were. And his father is like a general in the military and whatnot, and it's set in the 80s, I should say. Sorry, as well.
Yes, I did see that it's an 80s set one.
Yeah, and but what I really like is even with this jock asshole kid, by the end of it he ends up joining that group and is kind of does that Stranger Things thing where the bully ends up kind of joining them and becoming cool.
That's cool.
And I actually thought the characters were really nicely written, really well fleshed out. It's a coming of age story with giant monsters, and I think it works really well. It's the polar opposite of Singular Point. Godzilla Singular Point.
Yeah.
Now I know a lot of people do not like Godzilla Singular Point. I loved Godzilla Singular Point. It was fucking excellent. I
did.
However, this is great in the opposite direction. This is great in that I want to see monsters fight all the time direction. That's what you get with this. It's Gamera versus monsters a lot, and then kids escaping from peril. And it does it really well. I enjoyed the overall story. There were some nice twists that I didn't actually see coming. One in particular, I was like, oh, okay, didn't see that coming. That was cool. It's very gory in places, blood and people losing limbs and stuff.
Okay.
Not just Gamera. I mean, Gamera has been known to lose an arm or two, but like people losing limbs and stuff. And I was like, okay, they're going for more of an adult thing here for sure. But overall, I really liked it. It's just the art style.
What's the rating on it?
I don't know. It's on Netflix, I'm guessing. I mean, there is people say shit and fuck, and
oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I double checked as well. They said it in Japanese and they said it in the dub. I checked both versions because I was like, wow, was that just in the Japanese version? No, it's in the American version as well. In the dub, they swear too. So I don't know. It's clearly like a harder edge to it. Although they did go that way kind of with Heisei Gamera anyway. It was a bit more,
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking it was, I was thinking they might go more cartoony with it.
Well, that's what I thought.
As a literal cartoon.
As it's a literal cartoon, yeah, that's what I thought. But no, it is reasonably gory in places. There's blood and dismemberment and some really fun kaiju battles. It really feels like, and I don't know whether it's because Pacific Rim the Black is a Netflix thing as well.
Yeah.
It feels like it would take so little to smash these two franchises together. Even less than it would to chuck Godzilla in there.
Yeah.
Like, my God, even some of the music in this, I don't know if it's the same person, but my God, the music is straight out of Pacific Rim. I was like, what? This literally sounds like the Pacific Rim theme when Gamera's fighting people, or monsters, I should say.
That Pacific Rim series was a little hit and miss for me.
Same. And again,
I kind of enjoyed it, but
It doesn't really work in the Pacific Rim universe. It was kind of weird. It was like its own thing.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it did feel very separate.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
But this was, 6 episodes and unmistakably Gamera. I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time. It was a week when I really needed some escapism, and it delivered. It delivered that. I found myself smiling a few times. I quite enjoyed it. So welcome back, Gamera. Hopefully we'll get another live action now. That would be nice.
So you would recommend I watch it then?
I would recommend it. It's a fun, if you like Gamera.
Yeah,
it's Gamera.
I do. I mean,
if you can get past the art style,
it's far from my favorite of the MonsterVerse.
Same. I mean, for me, obviously Godzilla is my number one.
Yeah,
my number one boy. But I do love Gamera, particularly Heisei Gamera, and this felt like more Heisei Gamera, so I was happy.
Okay, well, I'll get over myself on the animation.
Well, no, I had to too. I do not like the animation, and I'll stand by that. I did not like the animation for the most part. It grew on me a little towards the end, but I still don't like it. The monsters looked cool though.
And it's only 6 part as well. So
it's quite short.
Too taxing.
Yeah, about 40, 45-minute episodes, I guess, something like that. Yeah. I mean, I blasted it in a day on a weekend, so I said I'd subscribe to Netflix when Gamera came back, and I did. So they've got me for a month. Although something's coming out at the end of this month. Actually, yes, because that's what I thought. Because I thought I can do Gamera, and then this nicely moves us into trailers. I can also watch Castlevania before.
I was going to say that not
a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that works out well.
I just have a binder up on that one.
Did you?
I did. Yeah.
Right, well, where do we go from here? We're going to talk trailers, and we've just done Gamera. Do we talk about Godzilla, or do we talk about Castlevania? Because animation and Netflix.
Let's do the Castlevania one.
All right, Castlevania. I absolutely adore the Castlevania series. Yep. That is 4 seasons that got better and better. I loved it.
They really did.
I loved it.
That first season was like it was a couple of episodes. It was a short.
It showed so much promise,
and it was like this could be so good. It could also be so bad.
Yeah, agreed. And then season 2 onwards, I was like, sold. Season 2 is probably my favorite season. Actually,
season 2 completely ramped up.
Yeah,
and it kind of put its foot into what it was going to be.
I still, to this day, get goosebumps when I think about the end of season 2 when they all turn up at the castle.
Yeah,
I was like, oh god, that was so good. And then again in season 3 when Belmont and Cypher turn up behind Alucard.
Yeah,
there's like moments in that show that still give me goosebumps. I love that show.
It's such a
loved it.
Show. It's really great. And again, the voice cast on that is brilliant.
Top notch.
So good.
But this trailer came along, and I feel like it's an unfair thing where I've loved something so much, and I'm like, oh, you're doing, I like that you're doing Richter Belmont, that's cool, but I'm like, okay, obviously new cast. Whether we get original, I don't know whether we'll get Alucard back. I mean, in theory, you could.
That would be cool.
But I was like, I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay, so I'm looking at the cast list. Yes.
Alucard's in it.
James Callas and Alucard are listed in the cast.
Oh, cool. Okay. So hopefully...
It might only be a small thing, but
it's still connecting the universe together and stuff. Now, I don't know. I'm assuming this is set after.
Oh, yeah. It looks...
many years later.
It looks 18th century, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of what I took from it. So,
except for the fact that, this is one of the things that we'll go into. Sorry, you carry on what I'll say.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is I feel like it's got a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
And I felt like the animation was not quite as good here. No. Now, whether that's a trailer thing, I'll wait until I see the full thing.
It could be, but it didn't look quite as smooth, did it?
Some of the lines felt a bit cringe, although...
Oh dear, some of the dialogue and the delivery was...
However...
It might, like you said, it might just be the trailer.
It might just be the trailer, because I was giving this... It is. I was giving this some thought, and I am confident I could put together a cringy as fuck trailer for Castlevania, the original series, and people would be like, "Oh my god, this is going to be cringe," because some of those lines out of context would sound really cringe.
I think you could do that to almost any great movie, couldn't you?
I think especially when there's a lot of swearing.
Ryan, you could put dialogue from that in bad context.
Especially when there's a lot of swearing.
What is this film?
Yeah, but especially when there's a lot of swearing and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that in Castlevania. So I am 100% on board. I'm obviously watching this. I am cautiously optimistic. I have concerns.
So there's the difference between a character swearing, like just saying, oh for fuck's sake, or oh, fuck off, to a character like being edgy and swearing.
It felt like,
being a swear.
It tipped it towards edgelord for sure this time. And that worried me a bit.
What actually worried me is the design of the main character when he puts the headband on, and then the music and the way the trailer went on just made me think Street Fighter.
I get you saying Street Fighter actually made me think actually the animation style feels more Street Fighter-y to me. Like, you know, when they did not Street Fighter 2, the movie, but the other one they did, the next one they did, it kind of feels like that, in that kind of downgrade. Now, Richter Belmont in the game did look like that, so I can't really argue. He did have the headband and he did have the blue
not sure
thing.
I played that one.
Yeah, he was...
Which one's he in?
He is in Castlevania 4? I want to say 4.
Okay, I'm not sure I've played 4.
And actually, might have been. Was he in the original as well? Might have been, because 4 is effectively. Oh no, sorry, 5. Sorry, yes, no, he's in 5, and then he's in Symphony of the Night.
Oh, okay.
Because he's at the start of Symphony of the Night, and if you complete Symphony of the Night as Alucard, then you can go back through and play it as Richter. Why would you do that when you can be Alucard? I don't know.
I was just going to say, why would you?
I don't know. But the option's there.
Alucard, that's just messy.
I guess because he was the boy in Castlevania 5. So
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So Rondo.
Alarm bells were certainly ringing.
I'm going to totally give it a go. Cause,
oh god, yeah. It's not put me off. It's just made me cautious. I think the problem is that a lot of the delivery sounded bad.
Yes.
And I'm not really... I'm looking at the cast, and I recognise people, but I don't know them terribly well. Other than bloody Natasha Kinski, who's listed here. I don't... Yeah, Edward Bluemel, what's he been in? Okay, I've seen that dude in a few things. He's a pretty good actor actually. So it might be hopefully contextual. Once it's in the actual show, it might not be quite so bad. But I am really looking forward to it. It's certainly not put me off.
No. I'm gonna definitely watch it.
And some of the vampire stuff look fucking cool.
Yeah.
I like the look of some of the vampires. They look really, really cool. So I'm hopeful.
I'm curious what they're gonna do because
I said it's 18th century. It says during the French Revolution, so of course it's bloody 18th century.
Does it say that in the trailer?
I'm just looking at the thing here. It says during the French Revolution, vampire hunter prodigy Richter Beaumont fights to uphold the family legacy and prevent the rise of a ruthless, power-hungry vampire.
Oh, are they going to Dracula again? Because obviously in the games it was usually pretty much Dracula coming back or someone trying to resurrect Dracula, but I kind of feel like they did that, they really did that in
I think at the end of when
he's living a happy life and it was like leave him there.
Yeah, I think they
but you do kind of feel like it's
to the detriment of continuing the story.
Well, that's the problem.
Dracula, they kind of put a lid on that, I think, in that cartoon.
They did, and it was a lovely end.
Yeah.
When they're just like, let our son live his life, and we'll just live out here. I liked that. I mean, ultimately, I guess Lisa would die of old age.
Yeah.
And I guess he would continue on, so maybe he becomes bitter over time. I don't know. I kind of love the ending of Castlevania part 4, and I kind of feel like, oh, just leave it there, guys. But I like we've got a time jump and we can just do its own thing, and I'm glad that Alucard is still around because obviously he would be. So that's cool. Yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll wait and see. I'm excited. I'm just a little concerned by that trailer.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I am absolutely not concerned about, however, is Godzilla -1, which had probably the best trailer I have seen in fucking years.
Yep.
Honestly, I am biased, admittedly. But good God, that is a well-made trailer. Like,
the teaser they put out was like, wow, fucking hell, that's how you do a bloody teaser.
Yeah, but then the full trailer, my God, like they are going full on. Godzilla is horror. This is terrifying.
Yeah,
and
this
people,
looks like it could
lots
easily
of people
slip in behind the very first Godzilla.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they are. I mean, a lot of things in Godzilla. You see a lot of stuff. You rarely see Godzilla actively kill a person. In the first Godzilla, he did atomic breath a couple of people.
Yes.
After that, not much. You get Godzilla, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, All Out Monsters Attack. You get the, you do get the poor girl in the hospital, which you've probably seen on YouTube at some point. Girl in the hospital.
No, I've seen that one.
Smacks her, yeah. So you do get the occasional thing like that, or a general that has a go at Godzilla. Godzilla 2000 does that, and I think Case 8 Godzilla did it as well. But generally, you don't see much of that. Here, Godzilla is stepping on people. People go flying when he's walking, and like there are bodies flying when you see him stepping in that shot where they're running away. People are just flying in the air. It's horrific.
Have you read the rumors that why that is?
No. Not why that is. I mean, obviously he's heavy, which is, I assume.
Do you want me to say?
Yeah, go for it. I don't mind.
Okay, so
it's not like I'm not going to watch it. I mean, you know.
So the rumor is that Godzilla going through the city is a second one.
Oh yeah, we talked about this off air.
Yeah, and they've killed his mate.
Yeah, there's two versions of that rumor, and I think I'm torn now. See, I was all for this because I liked it as a concept. Now I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, I kind of want it just to be one Godzilla, though, you know?
So there's the line in the trailer that says...
That monster will never forgive us.
Never forgive us, yeah.
Which works even in the context of original Godzilla, because Godzilla was scarred and mutated by the atomic bombs and would never forgive humanity, and they come back to that. But it certainly feels really personal in this. It's like, whoa. Yep.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Whatever is going on, I'm 100% sold on this film.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks fucking excellent. The cinematography, and this is where I was saying earlier on, shaky cam. It's done masterfully. It's shaky, but it lingers long enough. You can see what's going on. You can see the scene. That shot of the woman on the train with her looking out the window, and you just see that reflection. Oh my God, that's such a good shot. Such a good shot.
Yeah, every bloody shot was great. There's so many like beautiful shots. The stuff on the battleship.
Yeah.
Some really beautiful. I love that. The shot of the that ship being yeeted across the fucking city. It's like, wow.
And the fact that, you know, obviously we're dealing with Godzilla, which is ludicrous. But the fact that they've got those physics of when he's walking, the ground is collapsing underneath him. The ship being thrown feels like if you could throw a ship, that's probably how it would move.
It would look like, yeah.
You know, it's not doing that Hollywood thing, is it? You know, like in Hollywood,
it looked
it would do like 25 backflips and, you know, explode everywhere. Whereas that is like, no, that's probably, you know, if you could throw, you know, if you could, if you could throw Battleship Yamamoto, that's probably what would happen.
Yeah.
Yamato. Yeah, it kind of, yeah, I love that shot. I loved every shot. I was already hyped for this. I think I mentioned it when I said last year, or the Godzilla Day last year. I was like, oh my god, they're making a Godzilla movie and it's coming out, on Godzilla Day next year. I was already excited, but Jesus Christ, that's a good trailer.
I think we've said before, but I'm going to say again, I'm so happy that they've that they've just gone, okay, Americans, you do your thing, we'll do ours.
Toho are smart. And
they haven't had any interference. They haven't fucked about with anything. They haven't chucked strops like some companies do.
They can't. I think Toho can't. Legendary can't. It's written in the contract. It's like, you do you.
Yeah.
And if you want to license more monsters, you can, which is why Legendary have created their own kaiju, which I'm all for. But that's why you're not going to see Anguirus turning up or whatever, I doubt.
Yeah. Which I'm slightly disappointed in, but
slightly. But then they have created their own creatures that are really cool. So I'm like, cool, I mean,
to be honest, they've got my favourite in there anyway, so I'm happy.
I know.
They've got King Ghidorah, so I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that the Japanese are just doing their own stuff.
I think Toho are smart. They know that they want to crack America, and they know that now they can let Legendary do their own thing, right?
Yeah.
They've got some rules on what they will allow them to do with Godzilla and not do.
Yes.
But they can do their thing, right? That elevates everyone's... It kind of makes Godzilla super popular in the West. Yep. And then they can bring, like they have done now, they've got the Godzilla store in America. They've actually got a Godzilla store in America. They've got their movies coming out. And when their movies come out, they're like, hey, maybe you guys would like a cinema release. Something that rarely happens for Toho Godzilla films. But now Godzilla's everywhere. So it's like, okay, cool. Yeah. Maybe we will. And as we've seen, obviously hopefully we'll get it over here in the cinema too. But the States got Shin Godzilla and they're getting this as well. So I think it's a smart move. And I love that they are so different. It's like you just, you go with your thing and we will do our thing.
Exactly. And none more so than Shin Godzilla. That's so different.
Very different. But and I mean, I guess now, Legendary has become the Showa era of Godzilla. It's super silly, especially Godzilla versus Kong is like, okay, we're just full on Showa era silly now. And I'm fine with that.
Oh, I'm totally fine with that.
But I'm glad.
To be honest, I'm that's what I want to see.
I'm 50-50.
I'm happy that these other ones exist at the same time, so that I can watch those as well. I can see the super serious stuff, and then go back and just watch, Kong and Godzilla punch the crap out of things.
Yes. Let's throw physics out the window, and they can all jump on battleships. It's fine, and exactly. And again, that's the kind of thing that exactly would happen during the Showa era. It's fine. But I like that Toho were like, actually, we're going to do a very serious Godzilla movie, and we're going to do our own thing. It looks great.
Yeah.
Almost overshadows the Monsterverse, which is bringing out their own series on Apple Plus.
Yeah.
With Monarch Legend of Monsters or something. I forgot the name of it already. But that trailer dropped and also looks really good and actually looks way more grounded. They're clearly going for a 2014 Godzilla rather than a King of the Monsters Godzilla. Kurt Russell.
Oh. And
he's not going to be in this very much, I don't think.
Being his younger self is just so good.
That is perfect casting. I didn't realize John Goodman was back. Really pleased about that.
So I didn't. I was looking at the trailer.
Yeah.
Is that new footage?
Yeah, it's new.
It is new footage.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
He looks visibly older as well.
Straight from from Skull Island.
Well, I mean, I guess he filmed all these vlogs on Skull Island. Must have done.
I guess.
I don't know.
He he dies in that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like he must have done all of these. He must have been vlogging the whole time he was there, and
yes, Legacy of Monsters.
Legacy of Monsters. It looks really good.
Of monsters in it, by the looks of it. Great looking cast.
The good thing is that it's that Legendary and the movies put all of the money into creating those models.
Yeah.
And now they can use those models, so you've effectively got movie grade CG models.
Yeah.
In the show, and it looks great. The shots they've put on there look fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not going to have, Godzilla every week. I think it's going to be more of a Monarch show.
Going to be glancing blows, isn't it? I think.
I'm super curious. Like my brain kind of immediately was like, oh, I wonder how well that shot syncs up with 2014. The bridge scene, because obviously it's the bridge scene from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious as to how that worked. But they're certainly keeping continuity with San Francisco being completely ruined.
Yeah,
leading into King of the Monsters.
I was surprised at that's cool. I was, I mean, you'd hope they would because of the way those movies play out. You'd think if it's supposed to be set in that
absolutely
universe, then there's no way they're fucking just rebuilding that quickly.
No, I'm also super curious as to whether we will get. We could have them finding Ghidorah. We certainly can't have Ghidorah out and about, but we could have them finding Frozen Ghidorah. Frozen Ghidorah could be a backdrop, or Mothra. The larval form.
I think there's probably going to be a lot of that, isn't there? There's going to be a lot of we
in
just
the background.
I feel like it's set all over, isn't it?
It's set everywhere. I almost certainly think we're going to get some Kong for sure.
Yes, I would.
Because I would like them to do some more. I'm quite pleased that some of that seems to be on Skull Island. Because Skull Island kind of got the shaft. I feel. You had Kong Skull Island that was amazing and set up this wonderful world of Skull Island.
Yeah. And
then in King of the Monsters, it's barely mentioned, and then in Kong, Godzilla vs Kong, it's like, oh yeah, it's fucked, and it's like, oh. Okay, and I think the novelization says that it was Ghidorah's stormy thing. They I
think they say in the movie actually that it was ruined by
Ghidorah.
What Ghidorah was doing.
But it's like I want to see more of Skull Island, so I'm quite glad if we can get to see more of that and maybe see how it ends up that way. Progresses to that state would be cool. But I like this generation spanning thing. You said, having Kurt Russell's son play him in a younger him. Genius.
Yep.
I don't think Kurt Russell's going to be in this very much, to be honest with you. I think he's going to be like Bryan Cranston from the 2014 movie.
Oh, God.
I think he'll live. I don't think he'll die, but I just don't think he'll be in it loads. I think it'll be like, young Indiana Jones. Occasionally he'll tell the story of,
Yeah.
I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'm excited, though. It's very difficult for me to get excited about the Legendary Godzilla the same week I got that -1 trailer, but it's an embarrassment of riches we got right now.
I don't know if this is actually how it is, but listed on IMDb, Russell's only listed as 2 episodes and Wyatt's only listed as 1.
Wow.
So
Wyatt's only listed as 1. That's interesting. Yeah. I thought Wyatt was going to be in it loads.
That's what I thought too.
I thought it was going to be less Kurt Russell and more Wyatt.
The person that's in the most in what looks like 7 episodes is Christopher Heyerdahl.
Right.
Who I like him a lot. He was. Have you seen Hell on Wheels?
No, it's something I've always wanted to watch because I really like Anson Mount, and
Yeah, he's one of the bad guys in Hell on Wheels. He plays the Swede.
Mm-hmm.
He's great in that. He was also in what was that bloody series called? There was a series with Amanda Tapping.
Right.
Where Haven was it called?
Oh yeah, I remember Haven.
I think he was like I'm sure he played basically Jack the Ripper in that.
Right.
If it's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, he's listed as 7 episodes, so it looks like he's actually the main character, maybe. I don't know. Or he's the main antagonist.
Yeah, one or the other, I guess.
So yeah, that's don't know whether that's actually the real listing or what, but
no, I guess we'll find out soon. I mean, it's not very long to wait. It's coming out about the same time that -1 is coming out, so gonna be a busy old time. But I'm excited.
For both, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for all of it, yeah. To be honest, but -1 is
that was
very excited about that.
That trailer was beautiful.
Because I was kind of disappointed we got June delayed and movies getting delayed now, and I was like, oh, at least we've got that. That could be because I'm struggling, man. I'm like, oh god, I got to pick 5 films at the end of this year, and none really jump out. I can make 5, but
I was gonna, I'm in a similar boat. I'm thinking, actually, Jesus, what have I seen that's this year that's going to make my top 5? And is it going to be one of those years where we settle, which is
or I watch a load of indie movies and I'm like, hey, these are the ones,
Because there have been years where we've had like bad years, and then we've watched movies that came out in that year later, and we're like, fuck, if I'd have seen this,
if I'd seen that would have been the one. Yeah.
It would have gone on my list.
Totally. I think that might happen here. But but yeah, it's going to be fun, and I
mean, there's still a couple of months left. So
there's plenty of months left. So
I'd be surprised if the Godzilla one didn't make our list this year. I'd be
surprised if it doesn't make my list. I'll be honest.
Yeah, with you. I'd be surprised if it turns out to be a terrible movie.
Based on that trailer, I would be shocked.
It could very well be.
It could.
It could just be a really amazing trailer.
If it's terrible,
it could be the best.
If it's terrible,
how you do a trailer for a bad movie?
If Godzilla -1 is terrible, then that fucking trailer should be taught at school. Because that is one of the best trailers I have seen.
Make a trailer, lads.
That trailer is amazing. 100%. But yeah, we'll see. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we?
There was a trailer I saw for a Netflix thing called Bodies, which I thought looked interesting.
Okay.
It's based on a comic book apparently, and it's got Stephen Graham in it, and it's set in, I think it's 4 different time periods.
Okay, crime drama history. 4 detectives in 4 different periods of London find themselves investigating the same murder. That is a cool setup for a...
Yeah, it's the same bodies turned up in 1890, 1941, 2023, and 2053.
That does sound interesting.
And the trailer looked really interesting. So I thought I'd bring that up because I thought that looks like...
That's a cool premise.
To watch when it comes out.
Yeah, I might well watch that myself. That sounds kind of cool.
That's kind of it, really. Yeah, I think that's...
What are we watching next time, Matt?
So, I haven't specifically picked anything.
Okay.
But I thought maybe we would do another Western. We haven't done a Western in a while.
It has been a while since we've done a Western.
So,
There's too many to fucking choose from. My brain is... Any
particular one you've got your eye on?
No, I mean, if I was going to throw a curveball, Outlaw Josie Wales.
Okay.
But I don't mind, really. There's too many to choose from.
Let's do that then.
Okay. Oh, that was easy. That was the first one that came to my head. There's so many westerns.
A lot of the ones I was thinking of were quite older ones.
Well, I'm up for an older one if you want.
No, because I was thinking the last time we did was an older one. I thought maybe we do.
No, didn't we do Open Range last?
Sorry?
Didn't we do Open Range last? We did a modern one last.
No. Last one we did was High Noon.
Was High Noon after Open Range?
Yes.
I thought it was the other way around.
Ooh.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay. Outlaw Josie Wales. It's kind of in the middle.
Not that Josie Wales is a more modern one.
It's more modern.
By today's standard.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's reasonably.
I mean, that's like what? Josie Wales is what, like 4 years old now?
It probably is. It's what, 80-something? Early 80s?
Let me have a look.
I want to say like 84, 85. I could be wrong though. It's where I find out it came out in the fucking 90s.
76.
76! Jesus, that's even earlier than I thought.
Yeah.
I put that firmly in the 80s.
that movie is nearly the same age as me.
Oh, goddamn.
So, yeah.
I have a soft spot for Outlaw Josie Wales.
Well, that's why we picked it.
I really, I love the relationship between him and his mate. I think they're really cool. But yeah, we'll get to that next time. So yes, next time we will do Outlaw Josie Wales. But thank you for listening, everybody, and stay safe. Well, stay cool if you're in the UK. It's cooling down now, I think. But yes, take care. We will catch you next time.